Yo, what's happening, y'all? This is B Jizzle of the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Welcome to the number one LA Clipper podcast out there. We want to first give you guys a shout out, LA Clipper fan, LA Clipper Nations, for being here. Share this podcast with your family and friends. They will not be disappointed, but let's get it popping.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers to throw away. Hustle to overweight. That's why they follow me, They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Crossing that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now. But you got a soul to say. I just been cooking that new. I'm about to drop in the few. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth. I ain't really trip on the credit. I just paid all of my dues. I just respected the game. Now my name all in the news. Tripping on all of my moves. Quote me on this, got a lot more to prove. Remember I came in this bitch, fresh out the county with nothing to lose.
For nothing, no. Wanna count on you, but I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. You, but my money red, that you do all year long. So I don't do this shit for nothing.
Rolling up some good, pulling up till we get faded. You know how we do it. Everybody take a flex on. I got the keys to the city. I don't need no limousine. I turn up when I pull up and tell my booking agent book a show. Running around with the paper bag, running around with the paper bag. Going crazy spending all this cash. Going crazy spending all this cash. If I spend it, I'ma get it back. Even when I ride around dirty, a nigga don't need a seatbelt. A nigga don't need a seatbelt. Nah, it don't cost to keep it real. Run up, get done up. Shit can get real. Fuck around and get your ass rocked. Nigga, fuck around and take your shit. Got you asking God why. Drag your ass into an alley. Pull out aim for the target. Should've never been around the killers. In my town, we the fucking realest. No cheddar bars round here. I get the spray and they gon' get down. Ski mask over my face. Catch a body in broad day. Catch a body in broad day.
I got the key to the city. I got a hold of Sadiddy. Talk to that bitch in Swahili. Tattoo my name in graffiti. Whack out your hood in graffiti. Come through your hood on the weekly. None of y'all niggas can't see me. None of y'all niggas can't see me. Y'all ain't got nothing like this over there. Bunch of frontline millionaires. Bunch of self-made at the Trump pay. Guess the odds really took it there. Any problem, I'ma reappear. With a squad you already fear. All this time I've been playing fair. 7 digits every single year. Niggas die, niggas disappear. Alibis, I was really there. Life a crime till I get the chair. Columbine in my trigger hair. Still I rise and I took the stairs. Feel a fire, it's a different glare. All these fights, it was never fair. Busting knuckles, still I'm swinging fierce. Taste the salt inside my dripping tears. You should know I never had a fear. You should know I never had a shot, never had a chance till I took it here. Man, it's proud, but I see it clear. Strategize, I'm an engineer. Pick a side, gotta keep it there. Switching up, nigga, looking weird. I got the key to the city. I got a hold of Sadiddy. Talk to that bitch in Swahili. Tattoo my name in graffiti. Whack out your hood in graffiti. Come through your hood on the weekly. None of y'all niggas can't see me. None of y'all niggas can't see me.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull-Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, a.k.a. B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull-Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe to all of our YouTube videos. Hit that like button. Y'all come in here. Hit the share, subscribe. Hit that Cash App, $ BJ Matthews, $ BJ Matthews for all this great content that we drop to you on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, continuously. As it's not, also, you know what I'm saying, get your membership badges that are available. We have 3 different options: the LA Clipper badge, the interview badge, and the pull-up badge that give you different perks of being part of the pull-up basketball family. We have, give a shout out to our girl, Mercedes, for getting her membership badge a couple weeks ago, and our shout out to Danny Berry Sports Highlights getting his membership badge last week. So continuously rack up and get those membership badges for y'all, man, that we have a lot of great opportunities coming this summer. But last but not least, let's go and get started. All right, man. So we are over with the NBA Finals, but we are not over with the content. As a matter of fact, I'll be dedicating this week for Hell Week towards a specific group. And it's nothing really personal. It's just a fact that I had to get all this stuff out because, you know, when things are getting thrown at you at one after another, and you don't really have time to answer to every single, time, somebody tries to, I'm saying, create some type of narrative. Like I told y'all before, I'm the narrative killer. Um, I say it all time and time again. I'm the narrative killer. I'm the person out there that debunks a lot of the nonsense that the masses say. The way I look at life in a lot of ways, man, is usually I say the bigger the crowd, the dumber the crowd. Right? I'm gonna say that again. The bigger the crowd, the dumber the crowd. Meaning, if you have a crowd of people who all say the same thing, I'm not saying it's always 100%, so don't quote me on this, but I'm saying usually more times than not, people that go with the crowd based off of what they, want to portray. I I quote, ESPN or all these little, sports debate shows who take their word for bond and say, well, this is what's real, this is what's true. You listen to me, or you should obey me, yada yada yada. Anytime you hear that type of talk, most likely not you're gonna obviously be wrong. Now there are exceptions to the rules, like where sports pundits do like to tell it like it is, and they don't troll and they don't. But more times than not, they're trying to get ratings as big as possible on them sports shows. First Take, Undisputed, First Things First, Speak for Yourself, Pardon the Interruption. All these little sports shows on the ESPN and sports airwaves. They're trying to get clicks, right? So what happens is a lot of people buy into the narratives that's popular instead of actually buying to the narratives that are actually which call logical, right? People at this day and they want to be entertained, rather than spit facts. And I get it. You even look at the YouTube and content creating lane. I'm starting to look at and see that most people want to be entertained, right? They don't want to be really taught really too much. I mean, you got a specific group like my audience who love to be taught. I definitely appreciate y'all, but a lot of y'all want to be entertained. So that's why I try to mix it up. I try to have the debates. I try to have, the arguments, a little side slice, the pettiness on the show, just to keep y'all, I'm saying, entertaining, actually propel for the next video. And that's what this is about. This is called Hell Week. It's going to be Hell Week for the Dallas Mavericks. Like I said, the NBA Finals is over, but the content is still getting started. So I want to talk about this particular subject right here, and you guys may be a little bit confused about why I named it. Now I get it, but like I said before, I'm not going to give the title away or the video away by just with the title. So instead of saying so and so is this, I'm just going to come out with like a little catchy phrase, and this why I decided to name it Now I Get It, starring Kyrie Irving. Look, um, we just watched the Mavericks completely obliterate in a matter of less than a whole full calendar week. We watched the Dallas Mavericks get ran through by a Boston Celtics team that, many people thought that they were frauds. They thought that they were not a championship caliber team. They made fun of Jason Tatum, saying that he's mentally weak and all this stuff, which I got a video about Jason Tatum coming up in the next day or so as well. But I gave them their props, this morning on the live. So if y'all not check that out, make sure y'all go check out that video. But Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they both were, I'm saying, ran through the coals. People, made it seem like they were not a championship caliber team, even though they've been to the championship finals 2 years out of the last 6 years. They've been to multiple conference finals, I think 5 of them in 7 seasons. So when you talk about the success amongst them too, there hasn't been a duo that's been, more successful than them. I've tried to explain that to, several of my contemporaries, and they still want to yell out Jokic and Murray, even though Jokic and Murray had one great run, last year, and then they had the bubble run when they, beat us. But even that was their coming out party. You talk about Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They've been doing this since 2018 coming into the league. No matter who you put on that team, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum have always at least made it to the conference finals outside, I think, one season, if I'm not mistaken, when they got beat in the bubble. But other than that, they've been a consistent. What? No, I think they made it. They made it to the conference finals in the bubble, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they did. They lost to Miami, so they've been pretty much to the conference finals every year or the NBA finals. Right? That's success. That's dominance. They're durable. They're two-way. They're two-way players. They seem to, root for one another. So you're looking at a dynasty in the making when you talk about the Boston Celtics. Possibly they have the opportunity to do that. So we watched the Mavericks, who were favored in this series. As far as from my side of the field, my panel, a lot of people voted for them to be in the NBA Finals, right? So, or win the NBA Finals. But I think people allowed their feelings and their emotions and their outside agendas to cloud their actual basketball knowledge mind. That's what I look at when I talk about Mr. Kyrie Irving. Now, let me just be honest and be frank with y'all, man. Kyrie Irving was a person I really supported, not just with the basketball and with him being a great basketball talent, um, but I supported him off the court very heavily. I supported him when him and LeBron split up. I actually was on Kyrie Irving's side. I actually said LeBron James has basically turned his back on Kyrie Irving, asking for a trade to get Chris Paul. That was the whole rumors. They also said Paul George is supposed to come to the Cavaliers, which I'm gonna mention in a minute. But Kyrie Irving at the time won you a championship, and you behind his back, at least this is what reported, I think, by my man Rob Parker. And y'all can go check out that video. Rob Parker reported, I think, on ESPN saying that they tried to get Chris Paul for Kyrie Irving, right? After he won you a championship. So I said to myself, LeBron James has tried to snake him. I'm on Kyrie's side. He goes to Boston. He wants to actually win a championship or try to, lead his own team. That's what happened with him going to Boston. He was trying to prove himself, right? So I got what he was doing as far as a person. I was very, very heavy on Kyrie. I was on his side with the vaccine, right? With the vaccine, with the social injustice, with the all that stuff, him speaking out for, pro-black people. I was with Kyrie every step of the way. I was big for him in um, the Brooklyn Monstars. I used to call them the Brooklyn Monstars when they had Kevin Durant, James Harden with them. I was a heavy supporter of Kyrie Irving, right? Even to this day, I got a lot of respect for Kyrie Irving, who he is as a human being, as a person. Forget the basketball. I'm more of respect of what he is as a human being. But when you talk about certain things and certain aspects that people want to, stretch because they want to fit a narrative because of who they like, then that's where you have to cause for pause. As y'all come here, smash the like button. So who's Kyrie Irving? Who is Kyrie Irving? Right? This guy that people tend to, really love and, cherish and things of that nature. Um, well, I did a video on Kyrie Irving not too long ago, right? Let's look at it. For the ones that did not see my last video about a month and a half ago, I made a video about Kyrie Irving and Paul George. I made a video about this. I'm gonna more so focus on Kyrie Irving, not too much on Paul George in this live, because I want to highlight for the people who did not see the last video I made about it. But there was a notion going around where I feel like people really were trying to overrate Kyrie Irving because they liked him personally. And like I said, I love the off the court, you know, charitable acts that Kyrie Irving has done. I've watched his, Uncle Drew movie numerous of times. I play basketball in his shoes. Kyrie Irving is like more like a person who's for the culture. So it's easy for somebody to say, well, I like Kyrie Irving. It's kind of like Allen Iverson, right? For years, Allen Iverson was a player that people I thought were overrated. That was my favorite player growing up. Like, people think it was Kobe. My favorite player was Allen Iverson. Whereas all his, headbands, his armbands, his shoes, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was the cool one. He was the guy that was for the culture. People loved Allen Iverson, right? Black kid from the neighborhood, from the, urban community. That was the guy that you tend to, what I'm saying, try to be like. And when I look at Kyrie Irving, who is not like, quote unquote street, but he has like a street ball playing style. He's exciting to watch. He's a showsman, this, that, and the other. I think people use that same type of criteria when they choose to, evaluate him. And then you pour on all this the off the court social injustice stuff he's trying to do. Okay, well, he's such a great guy. He's such a great person. He's just a great human being. Now that people, they want to factor that in when they choose to evaluate him. They want to grade him on a curve. Like I said before, I like what Kyrie Irving brings as a person. I even think he's a Hall of Fame basketball player. But the amount of praise that he got based off of things that he never did or never deserved was at an all-time high. And people are not going to like what I just said. Because like I said, even now, the Boston Celtics pretty much embarrassed Kyrie Irving for a second time, because you guys remember, the Celtics gentlemen swept Kyrie Irving not just this year, but the year in Brooklyn, where they got beat. Well, actually, they got swept. They got swept in 4 games. Now, people were talking about Kyrie Irving had a bad coach and the system wasn't great and this, that, and the other. Okay, fine. So you fast forward 3-4 years later, and not only did they get gentlemen swept, they get gentlemen swept. And on top of that, the same guys that he left because he quote unquote could not, lead. And he said that was like an actual tall task for him to do, are the same guys that pretty much put him out of his misery. You know, beating him 13 straight times before them winning a meaningless game 4 in the NBA Finals. As y'all come here, smash the like button. The fact of the matter is the Celtics, not just the players, but that whole arena, they own Kyrie Irving. You might think about, oh, that's just like that's a bad terminology to use, but it's the truth. This guy's lost 13 straight games before he won 1 against the same team. So if you're going to make fun of LeBron James for going 0-11 against the Denver Nuggets because you don't like him, you got to keep the same energy when it comes to Kyrie Irving. Here's another thing about Kyrie Irving. I'm going to go into the playoffs. People did not keep the same energy when he had flameouts, which is something I have an issue with. Again, going to who you like instead of going what's real. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you look at it even round by round, go really round by round, Kyrie Irving, you watched all his games. I watched the games against, every series he was in. Of course, the first series against the Clippers. Now, before I even go a step further, I will be making another video pursuant to the Clippers are the only team that can't have an injury. The Clippers are the only team that are expected to win without their best player. Everybody else can get a pass. Everybody else can use the excuse they didn't have their best player to win. But the Clippers are expected to win even without their best player, a full series. We're the only team that's expected to do that, right? You look around the league, all these injuries, people are quick to say we didn't have this, we didn't have that, we didn't have our best. But when it comes to us, we still should have won. Now, I understand certain people felt and they saw the Clipper fans saying that they couldn't win the series without Kawhi. That's, again, for the Clipper fans to say, not for somebody else to say. You know what that means when your best player is out. People can play dumb. People can play stupid. People can act like they don't know what's going on. But you can't hold somebody losing their best player and then give full credit to a opposing team that barely beat them. So I want to put that out there before I even take a step further. The fact of the matter is, once Kawhi Leonard went out of the series, and yes, he would be the best player in the series, which I'm going to also talk about before with this Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic nonsense, that Kawhi was just carried by the Clippers every single year against, the Mavericks, and Luka Doncic had no help, yada, 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 except the guy that he had no help was on his team, whooped his ass in 5 straight games, who's been very productive for the Boston Celtics. I'm talking about Kristaps Porzingis. They made that a narrative. Now, again, I'm the narrative killer. They made that narrative year after Kristaps Porzingis left the team. But he goes to a team where he's actually used correctly, and they just put out the same guy. I told y'all before, Luka Doncic is very difficult to play with him. You have to be a certain special player to play with him. You can't just blend in with him, because you have to make up for his defensive flaws. You got to make up for his inefficient shooting. You got to make up for his pouting, his whining, his bitching. You got to make up for a lot of stuff when it comes to Luka Doncic. He does not protect the rim. He's not going to he's going to get exploited on the offensive end, so you got to help him on defense. And he's going to shot jack. He's going to turn the fucking ball over. He's a high usage player. He's a hard player to play with, right? But I was for another video. As y'all been seeing with the last minute with the stats, Kawhi Leonard was the better player in both those series, and he actually now was just a better player. He was a winner, better shooting splits, rebounded better, steals, blocks, less turnovers, better shooting splits, higher plus minus, and got the job done. And that was who the Clippers were missing. So back to Kyrie Irving. If you want to give Kyrie Irving full credit or give him, credit for them beating the Clippers without their best player, be my guest. But when I look at that and I see that he had a productive series, probably I would say the Minnesota series was probably better. But this is the series they want to give Kyrie Irving credit for it. Coming into this series, I said at full strength the Clippers would have beat them in 5 games, presumably 6. But that was before I realized Kawhi Leonard was basically handicapped from playing. So people want to give Kyrie Irving full credit for that. Okay, that's fair. That's fine, whatever. But what happened in the next series against the Oklahoma City Thunder? See, I see 15 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, and 6.2 assists and 2.3 rebounds. Now, people want to go back to, well, they were doubling Kyrie Irving. They were doing this, that, and the other. Okay. So now we're going to add on to what has actually happened because the numbers do not look very good for him right now. Okay, I got you. But see, this goes back to, like I said, people try to make excuses for who they like. See, when somebody says, somebody else gets double teamed or they're compensated or Paul George has to play he has to play as the rim protector because Kawhi Leonard is not in the game and he's missing players where he has to, create and he has to rebound and all this shit. Nobody wanted to hear it. But Kyrie Irving, who has 15 points per game, which is pretty much borderline role player numbers, no one says a word about it. That whole OKC series, Kyrie Irving was absolutely horrible. He had two games where he had 9 points. 2 games where he was basically getting targeted on one side by SGA, Jalen Williams. What really happened was that the Oklahoma City Thunder had the guard play to match Kyrie Irving. See, the series against the Clippers, because you're missing Kawhi Leonard, your best defender, and you had Terrence Mann guarding Luka, and you had Paul George on Kyrie Irving here and there, but more so on PJ Washington. Now Kyrie Irving can go off the way he wanted to because our best player is not on the court on both ends. But when you saw him against OKC, against SGA, and those, young, energetic guards, skilled, quick guards, you saw the results of him averaging 15 points per game. And I still had the Mavericks winning that series. I just said SGA was the best player in that series, and that's exactly what happened. SGA averaging 30 points per game, got them 2 wins. Could have easily been 3 off of a last-second, play in Game 6. SGA was obviously the best player, getting minimal help from Chet Holmgren, who couldn't protect the rim, and also getting minimal help from Jalen Williams, who was inefficient scoring the ball. Right? But here comes Kyrie Irving, who was supposed to be, this guy is just supposed to be a walking bucket, averaging 15 points per game. Say what you want about Paul George. Say what you want about Kawhi Leonard. They have never averaged that low points per game. So why ain't nobody talking about it? Okay, let's go to the next series against the Timberwolves. This was his best series, like I said, as y'all come in, hit that like button. So this is probably his best game right here. Best series. 27 points, 4.6 assists, 3.6 rebounds in 5 games. Obviously, this was the series to me that really showed me that Dallas, this is the most impressive series as far as how they're able to close games, how they're able to keep their composure, how their role players played. They knocked down shots. They got second chance opportunities. They battled. They gritted. This was definitely the best series for the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving came together and was able to be very, very productive in this series alone. But this was the only series, and this goes back to, like I said, we're pinpointing every single series that the Mavericks had Kyrie Irving and what he actually did because, like I said, it's easy to overrate people that you tend to like, right? and people love Kyrie Irving who actually did not really like him before. It's very interesting. A lot of people did not really have much to say about Kyrie Irving just a few years ago. They said he was weird. They said he was the flat earth comment. They said that he was a team killer. He was a locker room killer. He wanted he think he's smart. Like all this shit I remember hearing like 2-3 years ago. Now we're hearing that Kyrie Irving is so admirable. He's such a philanthropist. He's such a great person. You didn't hear none of this shit when he was going through that vaccine, right? And I get it. Like I said, I like Kyrie Irving personally as a person, and I think his game is dope. That's not the point. The problem is that people wanted to attack, and when I say people, I'm talking about all these Mavs trolls. That's why I said I'm dedicating this week to the Mavs. This is gonna be hell week for y'all because y'all came into my chat. I get you want to support your team, but when you start making up narratives and all this shit, trying to destroy and try to feed into something, they don't even hold your own team accountable, your own players accountable for scoring 9 points, averaging 15 points per game, right? When you don't hold your own team, your own players to that standard, then that's what you call a double standard. And no one has really time for that, especially me, because I will be able to put that on the screen and call it out. But at the end of the day, let's get back to the point. The Mavericks in this series obviously was the more dominant team. Even though the Timberwolves, to me, had the players to match up with the Mavericks, they just couldn't close games. I mean, you talk about game one, where the Mavericks were able to close that game pretty steadily. Game two, the Timberwolves were up by double digits in that third quarter, and then they end up losing like last second shot. You know what I'm saying? Game two, and then game three, they go down and lose that game close, and then game four they win a close game, and then game five they get blown out the water. See, Minnesota's a very, very weird team. They've been doing this for the last couple of years. They will have big leads, and they'll dominate and they'll beat teams they're not supposed to beat. When they beat teams that they are supposed to beat, they end up folding and crumbling. That's going to be an IQ, a situation they're going to have to fix and have to be something that they actually deal with and figure out who they actually are. But back to like the point, Kyrie Irving was his best player in Minnesota, right? Or the best version of himself against Minnesota, him and Luka. But it doesn't stop there. This is where now people get very comfortable and they start saying the Mavericks are this, that, and the other. As I stated before the series started, the Mavericks were not a championship caliber team. They should have never had they had no business being in the NBA Finals. That's just a fact. Even if you look throughout their regular season, they made a run towards the end of the All-Star break in March. Everybody went on that run. When you look at their actual opponents that they faced, very, very mediocre performances, very, very mediocre players they faced, teams they faced. They were beating teams like Houston. They're beating teams like Charlotte. Who else was in that run? A bunch of 500 below teams that basically had no bitch. You had the Kings who were depleted. You had the Heat, which was a middle of the pack team. They weren't beating no playoff caliber teams. They were beating playing teams. They were beating teams that were injured. They weren't beating no top tier teams. But when I stated it, everybody got mad. They said you're hating, you're this, that, and the other. But I put the stuff on the screen, then people still say you're hating. That's just how it goes. If you insult their team or they want their fair play, but the truth is the truth. What happened was the Mavericks benefit off of teams being hurt. You look at the teams like of course, the Clippers we mentioned, who owns them every single year. They missed their best player, but people think that's not a big deal. They're just supposed to play through it, some shut up and dribble shit, right? That's what they talk about with the Clippers because they just presumably hate the team. Don't even have enough decency to say like, yo, you missing your best player, so we ain't gonna really pump our chest too much. Which is why I'm gonna have a bone to pick with Luka Doncic in a minute because, he's another one. He's really put a lot of this on himself. Well, now that he's, got his ass whipped, you hear all these reports about him being hurt and he needs pain injections and shit like that. When he gets, like I told y'all before, when Luka Doncic is losing games and he's having bad performances, here comes the injuries. Here comes the I'm so hurt. I can't even play. If it wasn't a playoff game, then I wouldn't be playing. Like, this is what he was saying against the Clippers, and we didn't even have our best player. That's why I said the most the person Luka Doncic needs to thank for getting this far is Kawhi Leonard, because, as I've said before, the only time he gets this far is when he doesn't have to see Kawhi. Think about that. One man constantly keeps him from getting where he wants to go every single year, and it would have happened this year too. But back to the point. The Clippers were hurt. You had the Pelicans, who dropped because they lost Brandon Ingram for the last part of the season. They were in the fifth seed, or I think the fifth seed at one point. Where you had people saying the Pelicans could beat the Clippers. I had people coming on my channel saying that ignorant shit. The Pelicans were going to beat the Clippers. And to be quite honest with you, they always matched up against the Clippers very well. But it's the point that it's every team they're going to try to use to try to beat the Clippers. It was the Pelicans. It was the Mavericks. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was the Lakers. It was, you know, it's everybody else trying to go take cracks at the Clippers. That's what it's about. So the Pelicans get hurt. The Suns drop. The Kings get injured as well. You know, Malik Monk gets injured. Kevin Huerter gets injured. So they basically don't have their, like, the Mavericks just benefited at the right place at the right time. Right? Just like the Celtics benefited at the right place at the right time. The only difference between the Celtics and the Mavericks is that the Celtics, I can at least stomach them a little bit better because they actually showed they can actually win and actually be dominant in the playoffs. They've had multiple runs in the postseason. Mavericks, this is their Cinderella run. Right? Just like the Atlanta Hawks did in the 2021 playoffs. You never heard from them again. Right? But back to the point. With Kyrie Irving, they get to the finals, and let's see what he actually did in the finals, because you have people say that Kyrie Irving was a person that was, quote unquote, shading points and throwing the finals away, and he gave the Celtics an easy championship. Well, I don't look at it, they gave him anything. I think they just took that shit. I think Kyrie Irving, like I said, is very, very bothered by that Boston crowd. You can call him Jim Crow Celtics. You can call him, this, that, and the other. I know, Ticket says that a lot. Jim Crow Celtics. I know a lot of people don't like the Celtics, say they're a racist organization, this, that, and the other. You can call them whatever that you want. But it doesn't change the fact, like I said before, you can't put your feelings and emotions onto what actually basketball is. The bottom line is that the Celtics have beat the shit out, not just the Mavericks, but Kyrie Irving for 13 straight times. And when you look at that stat line, doesn't look very impressive, does it? 19.8 points per game, the same 19 points per game that Paul George had against the Dallas Mavericks. People wanted to roast him about. See, this is why I try to tell y'all, man, y'all need to watch what y'all say around me. Because if you're going to sit up here and say that PG's a playoff choker, he's this, that, and the other, where's all this for Kyrie Irving? Where's all this of him getting swept by the Boston Celtics just a couple years ago? Where's all this strife since he hasn't had no success since LeBron James left outside this year when he had like a Cinderella run? Where's all this where he couldn't get out the second round or the first round for a numerous amount of years? Where's all this where he's having 9 points in a playoff game in two separate occasions, as he's supposed to look at as this guy who can just put the ball in the basket? Where's all this hate and where's all this when it comes to Kyrie Irving? Because if you was not even to put a face or a name on it, I would say, damn, that nigga had a bad series. If you just put up his numbers and saw 19 points per game, you would think, oh, he's a good player, but he ain't no star player. You didn't even crack 20 points per game. And not only and to be quite honest with you, like even yesterday, that game was pretty much done by the start of the fourth quarter, and Kyrie Irving was still in the game, getting a couple more baskets to help his average out. Right? All I'm saying is, man, when you look at Kyrie Irving, not just this series, but his career, he is who he is. A lot of people were surprised by what happened with Kyrie Irving this series. A lot of people could not believe that Kyrie Irving looked like how he looked. But if you look at his career and who he's been pretty much, like I said before the series started, was a full weapon. That's all he's been. You look at what he was in Cleveland his first 6-7 seasons. You look at the records he had: 17-34, 19-40, and 28-43, all losing records. Now people say, well, he could have gotten better as the years went on. Yeah, he could have. But if you say he's all this and he's like a top this, a top that, he's better than Steph Curry, which, by the way, I hope nobody ever says that shit again. Because Steph Curry, we saw destroy pretty much the same team outside of Jrue Holiday, which probably would have made a little bit of a difference, but he had to chase him around. Steph Curry destroyed this Boston Celtics team that Kyrie Irving had trouble with. He destroyed this team by himself, literally. Andrew Wiggins was there as the second best player, the guy who right now is probably going to be getting traded. The guy that people thought that, was not even a winner, did not even care about basketball. That was Steph Curry's running mate. Klay Thompson was a shell of himself. He was not the Klay Thompson. He was coming off that injury. That was his first year coming off that Achilles and ACL tear. Draymond Green giving you 5 points per game, donuts, stuff like that. Steph Curry was literally carrying that team. And I used to hear a lot that Kyrie Irving was on Steph Curry's level. I don't ever want to hear that no more. But I heard that Kyrie Irving, that, like it took you 3 straight years, you were basically in the lottery. You get LeBron James, you finally get over the hump instantly. You become not only a championship team, but you're also one of the top seeds year in, year in, and year out every single year. A lot of people wanted to make it seem like LeBron James like Kyrie Irving did LeBron James a favor. LeBron was already a multi-time champion. LeBron James was already at that time the best player in the league. So LeBron did really Kyrie Irving a favor, because without that championship, do you really look at Kyrie Irving as the way y'all look at him now? I'm just spitting facts. And I was on Kyrie Irving's side throughout this whole thing with LeBron James for years, because I felt LeBron James stated. But the facts is the facts. If Kyrie Irving did not win that championship, would y'all talk about him the way y'all talk about him? Because it's going to take a LeBron James or a real number one option to get him there. Because if he's the guy's number one option, he's not going to get you where you want him to get to. You even go to the Boston Celtics, right? He had 2 seasons there. That was probably the time when he was in his athletic prime. Right? So this was his time where he had a chance to be the number one option. First year in Boston, he did great in the season. Playoffs, as y'all saw with Tatum and Jaylen Brown just did, a lot of people just said that Kyrie Irving was this, then. Well, it really looked like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Morris and those guys, came in ready to play. Like I said, I'm gonna make a video about Tatum in the next day or so about him, because I got a lot to say about Jason Tatum, because I was very, very hard on him a couple of years ago, but he earned his stripes. I'm gonna say that. But like I said, Kyrie Irving had a great season that year, his first year in Boston, and then he gets to the playoffs. Not only did the Boston Celtics have success without him in terms of taking LeBron James to the conference finals, they built it off of that when he left. His second year in Boston, he ran through in the first round against the Milwaukee Bucks in 6 games. People wanted to blame him having personal issues with his grandfather. I definitely can sympathize and empathize with that, but I also got about 10 years of extra evidence to presume that it's the same result. Kyrie Irving is not going to lead you past the second round as number one option. He may get you around, but he's not going to get you past the second or third round. What Kyrie Irving is a guy that's going to put on the show. He's a great weapon. He's going to complement you if you have a main piece. It's like a dinner. Think of us like a meal. Kyrie Irving is a great side dish. He's the macaroni and cheese. He's the string beans. He's the mashed potatoes. He's the what I'm saying. He's the finishing touches that go with the main course, but he's not the main course. So when you say that he's this person that just accomplished this, that, and the other, well, what did he really accomplish? What has Kyrie Irving really been throughout his entire career? What has he really accomplished? Well, look at the screen right here. This is awards and honors, right? Rookie of the year, all rookie first team, pretty good, right? Shout out to Uncle Drew, all NBA third team in 14-15, all NBA second team in 18-19, all NBA third team 2020-21, right? Not bad, right? Never won an all NBA first team, right? No all NBA defensive teams. Hasn't had an all NBA team since for the last 4 seasons. I know he had LeBron James for a number of years, but those are the same teams with LeBron James that people said that Kyrie Irving got him his ring, hit him with the shot. So you would think for a second that he would at least have more than what y'all see on the screen. And I'm not saying it's a bad resume. It's definitely a Hall of Fame resume. You know, you can make the NBA Hall of Fame, you know, it's easier to make that than it is in, say, football, right? But, you know, 8-time All-Star, championship, 13 years in the league, that's pretty good. That's really good, actually. But if we're going to nitpick, Kyrie Irving has been overrated, and it's been by the same people who's been yelling across my you know my page because they want to create a narrative because they like him. I like Kyrie Irving too, but I'm not gonna sit up here and lie because I want to make up a narrative. Again, no one said a damn word about him averaging 15 points per game. No one said a damn word about it. They just sat back and watched it happen. Oh, the Mavericks had, you know, they were able to win it. They were able to win the series. That's the most important thing. Okay. So when somebody else keep that same energy when somebody else wins a series without their best player playing that well. Right? 19 points per game. And people have the nerve to say that Kyrie Irving is going to get revenge on the Boston Celtics, that they're going to somehow just embarrass him. And then you got Kyrie Irving after game 2, after getting pretty much, you know, going back with the Celtic fans. He puts up 5, the number 5 on his hand to indicate I'll see you game 5. Okay, I'll see you in game 5, but what you going to do in game 5? See, like I said, Kyrie Irving is the type of person, I know he wants it, but him wanting it and him getting it are two different things. Again, when have y'all seen Kyrie Irving outside of the 2016 championship just somehow just will his team to, you know, bass multiple rounds? Or when did y'all see him do this? That shot is what really has elevated his entire career. But y'all be the same dudes that get mad at Kawhi Leonard when somebody says, well, look at him in the 2019. Oh, that was back in 2019. BJ, why you talking about 2019? Why are you still talking about that? Why that was in Toronto. Why are you still talking about 2019? Who cares? Oh, Kawhi Leonard in 2021. You know what? Why y'all keep talking about Kawhi in 2021? Paul George in 2021. Why y'all keep talking about Paul George in 2021? Because number one, motherfucker, history, it highlights the type of person you and player you are. It's called history. It's called you knowing your history. If you can go back 8 years, I can go back 4 years. I can go back 5 years in a run that was not talking about one game. I'm talking about the entire playoffs. Again, people want to cherry pick and they want to give their own narratives. I'm not doing it here. We're not doing that here. If you're going to use Kyrie Irving 2016 one shot when LeBron James led in every single category in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals, you can't get upset when somebody highlights Kawhi's greatness or Paul George's greatness in a series rather than in one shot. But that's really what I wanted to kind of get off, man. People, I get it now. People elevate Kyrie Irving. Well, the people that like him want to elevate him. He's a great guy, a great basketball talent, magician with the ball, best finisher around the rim I've ever seen as far as the layup package, best handle, of course. But his game predicated to him winning all these, championships or being a flat-out winner. I didn't see that him coming into the league. I didn't see him when he was the number one option. I didn't see that in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? When he had, there was chaos there with Steve Nash and, you had Kevin Durant, him running the team and him saying that he doesn't need a coach to coach and all this stuff, which I knew what he was talking about. He said, Kyrie Irving is a free thinker. I know he didn't mean no harm by it, but like I said, don't stop acting like his destinations. He's just been a winner, or he's been able to do so much. He's been a showsmanship. He's going to put on a show. Yeah, he's going to have a very crafty, nice handle. He's going to do a lot of oohs and ahs. But when it comes to winning and, him leading his team and his resume having all these accolades, bro, it's just not there. It's just not there. And I'm putting it on the screen for everybody to actually see what it is. I mean, for you to talk about him having he's only had 3 All-NBA teams in 14 seasons. No defensive teams. And if he never won, I'm telling you, if he never hit that shot, if he never had LeBron James he played with, then what would y'all really rate Kyrie Irving? How would y'all really look at him? Y'all would look at him exactly how I said, a great weapon, showsmanship. That's not hate. That's not disrespect. That's the truth. Because I dare somebody even in the comment section to tell me, when did Kyrie Irving become great in the postseason? You want to use this year? I already broke it down to you. All the indicators that had to, fall in their place for it to even happen. And then when it came to the winning touches, where was that winning basketball this year? I mean, He's 32, so he's still in his prime. He was looked at as now, people saying that he was the best player on the Mavericks, and he was this, that, and the other, and he was the showman type. Where was that in the finals? Another indicator is Luka Doncic is not LeBron James. So when Luka Doncic is getting beat off of defense, something that LeBron James would not be doing, getting beat off against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Jrue Holiday. That's why I said the defensive side of the ball matters. So Kyrie Irving needed LeBron James. He didn't need Luka Doncic to win a championship. But I'm just making a point, man. Just call it down the middle. Call it how it is. I like Kyrie Irving. We all like Kyrie Irving as a person. But that shit was disgusting that people tried to make it seem like Kyrie Irving was just this, that, and the other. And he was just, a person that was just, I think, overrated, like I said. And that's how I'm going to leave it. But, again, love y'all. More videos coming, more Hell Week. I will be doing Luka Doncic next. I will be destroying Luka Doncic. I will not be taking it easy on him like I did Kyrie Irving, which I don't think I took it easy on Kyrie. I just think that it didn't come with enough animation. But Luka Doncic, boy, I'm going to get on his ass. So y'all stay tuned. Pull up, check, pull live. Peace. Out of here like swim well.
Wow.
I've been all around the world, Japan to Amsterdam. Meals nutritious, lifestyle was vicious, yeah. While these out here tried to hate mine, yet I still stood tall on the main line. 2-step, throwing up their gang sign. All around the city, big chain, but he ain't signed. Y'all fake tough, little puffs to my canines. Don't forget cracking at them hit boy parties. Probably had your girl naked at them hit boy parties. Big chains, big flexing at them hit boy parties. Nobody trip, cause they knew I had that big boy on me. Yeah, gang of fast living, addicted to cash get. Disrespected to getting the ass whipped. Don't call yourself a baller unless your whole clan get. Plan you got, you ain't working, then you need to plan different.
This on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything.
Yeah, no need for Glocks box out. Baby got her box out. Just dropped a man, now she looking for that knockout. He did her wrong, then he tried to shame, baby. She was trying to bounce back, so don't blame, baby. Cause it kick her up, one time fuck her up. A true big homie, I don't hear his name enough. Went through the real movie while y'all snowed on the bluff. Gotta give it up, big homie did his stuff. Now it's all about the bag play. Been around more smoke than an ashtray. Right cheek, left cheek, let her ass shake. On God, I'm 100 to my last day. West side, east side, yeah, I'm both for that. No talking, take off, bro, I'm known for that. 50 M's on the scales, yeah, I'm close to that. Yeah, you on the same mission, yeah, I'm hoping that. Make the money overlap.
West side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Hey, hey, it's on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Throw it up, throw it up,
Throw it up,
throw it up,
throw it up,
throw it up,
throw it up,
throw it up. Yeah, that's it up. Hey, homies. Yeah, 323s, 213s, 310s, 424s. Hey, 818. Yeah, what we missing? 562s, I see you.